Welcome back to Poddy Magic. I am super excited for this episode because I grew up a Freo supporter and some of my core memories being at Subiaco Oval watching this man. I've got Hayden Ballantyne. Welcome to Poddy Magic. Thank you very much for coming on down.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, mate. So played 171 games for Freo and you had a very iconic... famous. I don't even know what's another word that you could use to describe what you got up to.
Fun career.
Yeah.
I was out there having fun, playing a game I love playing. So
Yeah.
There's a lot of things said about me, but I was out there to win games and enjoy myself, and that's what I did.
It was very entertaining to watch. I always absolutely loved it. It was so good. And sort of like doing a little bit of research before doing this, I just went down the YouTube rabbit hole, and the YouTube clips are awesome. Like, they are so good. We'll get into some specific ones, and you can maybe tell me the ins and outs of each one later on, which would be great. But just to start on off with, just some like little quick questions, just to get you in the game. So who'd you grow up supporting?
West Coast.
West Coast. Who's your favourite player?
Peter Matera, early doors, but then when they were really flying, your cousins, Jard Kerr, like, they were just unreal to watch.
Yeah,
really good. Little Phil Matera as well. He was a bit of small forward. Like watching him play. So yeah, West Coast were my team, but that changed pretty quick.
Yeah. And at any point, was there like any interest for you to go to West Coast? Like, were you that connected with them?
Not that connected, but towards the latter end of my career, there was a opportunity to go to West Coast, so that there was a contract on the table, and yeah, it was pretty close to happening. But I'm pretty happy I stayed at Freo, and I was a one club player.
Yeah,
my whole career there, and ended up getting life membership. So that's pretty special as well.
Love it. And best goal that you've ever kicked? Is there one that just stands out? Did you win goal of the year one year?
Yeah, one goal a year. Best goal, not really. Probably my first goal. We played Carlton. Kicking your first goal, it just gets the monkey off the back. In our first game, we played Collingwood and got absolutely smacked. I think we only hit 4 goals for the game.
Oof, that's rough.
And got beat by 10 goals. So then, but the second game, I kicked my first goal in the first quarter, and that was pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome. And a hardest player that you had to play on, was there someone you just hated to match up on, or like both, I guess, like skill wise, but then also was there anyone that was just a real?
There's 2 players from Adelaide, and they're both like polar opposites. But they were the hardest to play on. First one was Graham Johncock.
Yeah,
and he was early.
Really, Graham
Johncock. That goes back a bit. Wow. But he was the hard because he just ran off all the time, and he'd kick more goals than what I did. And he's meant to be the defender. And then the other one, who was just a lockdown defender, was Luke Brown.
Yeah, Luke Brown.
Yeah, for Adelaide, both for Adelaide. Like, you wouldn't know, no one would know who he is, but he's someone that all small forwards don't like.
Right.
He doesn't want to get a kick. He just stops you getting a kick.
Amazing.
And he was pretty good at it.
That's awesome. And so I just want is this true or not? I've reached out to my sort of, people that I've got around just to see if I can find anything about Hayden Ballantyne. So is it true that you have or had an Australian flag tattoo on your chest and you went to go get it lasered, but then you went, fuck that, it hurts too much. So now you've got half a looking tattoo on your chest.
Well, I don't. I've actually had a remodeling done, so I've got a proper, a half decent tattoo now. But yes, I got a on the 2007 Peel Thunder footy trip, I think it was.
Yep.
Few too many Coronas, and went down and got a tattoo with a mate. We regretted it the next day, but
so what's covering it now? What have you got?
I've got a bit going on there now.
Oh, that is a lot going on.
I've got a 3 roses for my 3 girls, so that's a little bit symbolic.
Covered it nicely though.
Covered it nicely, yeah.
So how come that wasn't the first thought of just covering it up? You just thought you'd go the laser first? Or?
It was, so I went for the laser, and oh my God, it hurt a lot. And I can deal with a bit, but it's I didn't want to get rid of it that much.
Yeah, fair. All right, this is another is it true? So this is an actual quote that I got sent. Hayden Ballantyne is an amazing tickler. He can clamp you down and tickle you all at once, apparently.
Is that Mick Barlow?
That was Mick Barlow.
So Mick Barlow is the most ticklish person you've ever met. And I was pretty strong, so I could hold him down. Yeah. And he couldn't get out of it, and I just tickle the shit out of him. And it was more funny just listening to him laugh. He's got the loudest laugh, and there was nothing he could do about it. So, when I got that look in my eye, I was going to get him. He used to run.
That's all. So it was just particularly Mick Barlow.
Mainly Mick Barlow. Nick Subban as well. Nick Subban used to crack the shits.
Yeah. There's another, is it true? So is it true you played a game of footy with a broken jaw?
Yep.
Wow,
well,
that's full on.
Yeah, played a few actually. So I broke my jaw against Port Adelaide 2014, and Pav's 300th was the following week.
Yep.
So I went in for surgery on the Tuesday, and I actually woke up pretty good.
So how did you actually do it in the first place?
Just a ground ball. Someone's come in from this way and collected me, and I knew something was wrong because my teeth didn't line up.
Yeah.
So I knew it wasn't too good. But the scan, I just broke one side here, and went in, had plates put in, and they fixed her up. And normally I wake up pretty bad from anaesthetic, like absolutely rat shit. But I woke up pretty good, so I messaged Ross straight away. I said, if I get the swelling down, you're gonna let me play?
Yeah.
And he said no. I was like, but then eventually I just said, I got ready for training on train. I said, I'm good to go. And he picked me and let me play. So
Unreal. Wow.
That. And then I broke it again that year in the first final, but broke both sides. It was pretty decent, and I couldn't get up for the following game. But it would have been, if we had won that, it would have been to a prelim, which I was not missing.
Yeah.
But we got rolled by Port Adelaide, coincidentally, and missed the finals that year.
So then just on your injuries as well. So you've got plates in your jaw, cheek. What else have you got? Have you got plates everywhere and everywhere?
Jaw, eye socket, and up here somewhere.
Just because you used to literally, I remember, smother the ball with your head just
Yeah,
about.
that's-
It
yeah.
would just be these head over
It
dives
wasn't
like
the
this.
smartest thing sometimes. But my face is pretty much shoulder height to everyone. So when I
Yeah.
come in to tackle them, that's how I did it the second time. Came in to tackle a big defender from Sydney, Teddy Richards. Came in to tackle him, and it was just bang, shoulder on jaw, and I felt both sides going push right back, and that was I've tried to finish the game off, but yeah, I was struggling by the last quarter. I was struggling.
Yeah. Ow, that is full on. And I heard you're also a serial pest off the field as well, and you were the king of pranks down Freo. have you got a list of any of the stuff that you got up to?
Kepler Bradley was a favourite to target because he'd lose the plot pretty quick. Just something as simple as just like you go in the toilet, wash off, and just throw the wet paper towel over the toilet at him, and he just
Annoying.
He'd have his pants down, he'd come running out chasing you. Actually, Anthony Morabito got me and Brock O'Brien one day, put deep heat in our jocks. And obviously burnt a fair bit, so we thought we need to stitch him up. So we took his keys, we took his keys and took his car up to the high rise in Freo, high rise car park, parked it in there, came back and then wrapped his keys in about 6 rolls of wrapping tape, for like ankle tape.
Yeah.
And then left the parking ticket on it.
Oh, no.
And just said, good luck, son. And it took about 4 hours after training to go find his car.
Oh, no. And was there any retaliation from that? Or that was when they're cold even?
That was it, because he knew if he did something, it was 10
coming
times
again.
worse. So I think it scared everyone else in the club too.
That's so good. So going into your football career, I guess let's go right back to the start and we'll sort of work our way forward. If you think of any stories in between, stop me, go on any tangent you like. Yeah. So right from the start, who sort of got you into playing footy to start on off with? Was it your family? Were they right into it, or was it?
No. My dad's a trainer, and like none of my uncles were really into football, nothing like that. Just one day, I just got a football for Christmas, I think it was, or a birthday, and just handled it well and was pretty good at it, and it took off from there. Played kick. I was always pretty good in juniors, but I was always the smallest on the field. Hence why I always wore number 1. Because
that was
the smallest jumper.
Smallest jumper, yeah.
So I was always number 1, and I was all right during juniors and that. And it wasn't until I was probably 13, 14 where it was pretty clear I was like better than most of the guys in the junior teams.
And who did you play juniors for?
Feldivis,
yeah.
And then went on to Peel Thunder and played Colts when I was 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
And then 18 I nominated for the draft, played state 18s, did all that, and had an okay carnival, 18s carnival. Had one really good game, had 30 odd and kicked a goal, and I thought I'd be a chance to get rookie listed at least. I missed out on that year, and that was pretty shattering, really. Because I was.
I guess probably at that period of time as well, it was less common for you to get picked up when you were a little bit older, sort of like when you were 17, 18, and that was kind of the window.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
where I was 18 at the time, and thinking I was a good chance, and my name never got called out, so that was pretty shattering. But I didn't. My dad said either sook about it and quit, or get back on the horse and get into it. So that's what I did, and I played another 3 years of waffle footy, trying to get drafted, and first 2 years was midfield, playing midfield where I had always played.
Yeah.
And was playing pretty good footy, like getting good numbers and kicking goals here and there, but never enough to catch attention really. So my third year, Chris Waterman said, go play small forward, see what you can run amok down there and see what you can do. And ended up having a really good year, kicked 76 goals and won the Sandover, and that actually caught some notice of a few recruiters. And had 4 clubs that said they were going to pick me, and Freo were the ones that called my name out.
Amazing. So who were the other clubs that were maybe showing interest?
I had Hawthorn, Port Adelaide and West Coast were the others that were pretty keen. And Hawthorn had 17 they said they're going to take. They obviously didn't. West Coast had 20. They took Tom Swift. Freo had 21. Took me, and 24 was Port, who said they were going to take me as well. So
unreal.
It was going to be one of those, and luckily I got to stay in my home state.
So good. And was that obviously the option that you were maybe wanting to? Were you preferring either West Coast or Freo at the time, just because you wanted to stay here, or you didn't really mind? Or
No offense to Port, but I don't really want to go to Adelaide.
Yeah,
not a whole lot going on over there. Melbourne would have been great. Like, I would have loved to have moved to Melbourne.
Yeah.
And especially for a team like a Hawthorn. But yeah, I was so happy to stay in my home state, and even though I was a West Coast supporter, I still followed Fremantle, and to stay in WA was unbelievable. And yeah, got to play a lot of footy in a team that I ended up loving.
Yeah, love it. And who was the coach at the time for Freo?
So Mark Harvey was the coach, and
that would have been sort of towards the last couple of seasons that he was there, though.
Yeah,
hey?
so he was my coach for 9, 10 and 11.
Yep.
It's funny, before the draft day, it was the week before, Peel Thunder had like a corporate lunch thing, and Mark Harvey was invited, and the West Coast, I think it must have been John Worsfold was invited, and Mark was on my table, and we just got chatting, and he just said, "Oh, where are you going next weekend, like in the draft?"
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, I'm not sure. We're thinking about metros, but I'm not 100% where we're going yet." And his face just dropped. Like, I might have fucked up here. And then he pissed himself laughing, and then he tells the story to this day.
That is iconic.
Cocky little prick said he was going to metros next week.
And did you go to metros after you got drafted?
I think I did. Yeah, I think you did. That was the place to be at the time.
That's awesome. And when did you get your first game? How long did it? Sorry, before that as well. Your relationship with Mark Harvey, good?
Really good, yeah. Yep. Really good, yeah. So he was my individual coach as well. So after games, I go review my game.
Pretty handy to have the head coach as the individual coach.
Yeah, and he basically gave me a bit of a license to get out there and play.
Yeah.
Don't worry, no rules. You get the ball, you do what you got to do. And as a pretty cocky small forward, that was just a license to run amok, and played some really good footy under him, but didn't have that. I suppose discipline to do the other team things, which is what Ross really instilled in me. But yeah, I loved every minute playing under halves, and we had some really good wins, and we had some really, really big losses as well. But yeah, it was really good playing under him, and still mates with him now. Like, still trying to get him to buy a share in a horse.
Yeah, nice. I've heard he's a real players coach.
He is. He's one of the boys basically. Yeah. Really good coach. Really good one-on-one. Good to just sit down and have a chat with. He was and he'd come over to Big Aaron's and have a beer with us after games and stuff like that. So it was, he was someone I got along with really well.
Great. And your first game, how did that come about? How did you hear about it? What was it like?
Yeah, so coming into the club, I'd been playing with a broken wrist. I didn't know. Like, I knew it didn't flex like it probably should have.
Yeah.
But I'd been playing a couple of years with it.
Sounds like it's a recurring theme.
It is
you're playing. You're playing with stuff that's broken or not supposed to be played on.
Yeah. Well, I had so basically I had to have an operation straight away. So I missed all the most of the preseason, and missed the first 8 games. I was meant to play round 9, and flew over to Adelaide. We're playing Adelaide, and in the warm up, I'm doing just light tackling with Clayton Hinkley, and I popped his shoulder out.
Yeah.
Oh, God. One man down. And then literally the next drill, I've done my hamstring. So our reserves come, and now we need another bloke flown over from WA because
oh my God,
I've just stitched this up and broke someone's shoulder and then did my hamstring. So I missed out on playing my first game against Adelaide, and Sonny Walters flew over, made his debut instead.
Unreal.
So he still owes me a beer for that. And then so I had to rehab my hamstring, got that back, and then played a few weeks later against Collingwood over at the MCG in front of...
What a start that is. Holy shit.
It was decent. 60, 70,000 people, and they're feral.
Oh, yeah.
My dad and little brother flew over, and my little brother was shitting himself. Like they were, because they had Freo stuff on, they were just going.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I got my first play of the game. The ball's been kicked into our forward line. What's their captain's name? Nick Maxwell. Back. He was like, that roll off defender, and he's right in front of me. I thought, if he's going to mark it, I may as well make him earn it. And just ran through him, and I got reported before I even got a possession.
Did you really?
So it was a good introduction. Didn't kick a goal that game, but yeah, took a lot out of it. I had to play on Harry O'Brien.
Yeah.
Whatever his name is now.
Yeah.
I had to play on him, and he was All-Australian defender that year, so he taught me a thing or two on where to go and what not to do.
Unreal. And then from, I guess, how many seasons did you have Mike Harvey for? You had 3 seasons.
3 seasons under him.
Yep. And then Ross the Boss rocks up.
Yep.
And then what was that like? What was the change like in the team? And I guess also your own role. And you touched on it before that. I guess it was you're picking up more of a role for the team rather than just going out there and playing.
Yeah. So I didn't even know that that all went down. Harv's got the sack and Ross was straight. They'd already been talking to Ross, and I actually had a voicemail on my phone from a random number. Listened to it, and there's this real loud, boisterous kind of bloke. G'day, Ballas, Ross here. And this is just want to introduce myself, catch up, and have a chat. And I was like, well, better call him back. He's the new boss.
Yeah.
And we just hit it off. Like he's similar to Harv's, like real man's man. No bullshit about him at all. What you see is what you get. And someone who will back, if you do the right thing by him, he'll back you in 100%, which is, I think that's why we got on really well. And yeah, basically he wasn't a shock to the system, I wouldn't have thought. He just progressively got harder and harder on us as we developed being able to take his aggression and his forcefulness, I suppose it is, because he was very forceful in the way he's got his message across.
And I guess it's probably also as you develop as a team, the standards, they rise and rise, don't they?
And that's what he instilled, standards. This is the standards that the players have set, and he held us to those standards. So there was nothing we weren't aware was going to be there, or we didn't want to happen to us. So once we set that standard, and we slipped, fucking look out, you copped it. And that really brought me on as a player, I think. Like, I could always play, I could always kick goals, I could kick some good bags of goals and done some good things, but it was a bit inconsistent, where he's come in and just give us a good kick in the arse that we probably needed, to be honest, to play this consistent footy. And we'd win some games by 10 goals, but then the following week lose by 10. He took that massive swing out. It was just like this. The swing went from massive fluctuations to just a little bit. Either our worst game wasn't too far away from our best game.
Yeah.
So that really took us forward very quickly we played his first year, we played finals. We went from being, I think we finished 10th in 2011 to finishing in the 6th or 7th and playing finals in 2012 and getting a taste of what finals is like.
Yeah, that's a big turnaround.
Massive,
huge,
massive.
Yeah.
And we beat Geelong, I think 3 times that year. And that's like, they just won the premiership.
Yeah.
And Geelong always had a target on their back for me because they were the best team.
Yeah.
And I love playing against the best because, you want to match yourself up against them and test yourself out. And I used to love when we were playing Geelong because I get right up for it.
I was going to say, there's a few points in the next little bit that we'll go into of the YouTube rabbit hole that are you versus Geelong, you versus everyone there. So before we get to that, was there like a point that Ross sat down with you and went, all right, cool, this is what you're going to be doing for me, Ballas, or anything specific like that? Or is it more so directed at the whole team and that's just how you sort of fitted in as the team?
I don't specifically remember him sitting me down and telling me what to do. He said defence starts from the attack. So if we're pressuring and doing what we need to do as a small forward line, we'll turn it over in our forward half, and what do we get? We get more shots on goal. You turn it over inside our 50, we get a handball, we get a kick, we get a spot up, we have another shot on goal. So that was where it started for us. And I used to love chasing and tackling blokes. That was my thing.
Yeah.
Hitting and hurting them. I loved it. But then when he used to reward us, after a game, our clips of what the game was like wasn't the goals, or wasn't the big marks and stuff like that. It was the chases, the tackles, the ground balls. He loved a ground ball.
Just love the hard stuff.
Loved the hard stuff. So I always featured in, and Lee Spur always featured in, because Lee Spur, he's a bit mental as well. Just head down, ass up, just head over the ball and getting the hard stuff done, I suppose.
Yeah.
And that's when you get a bit of a pat on the back for doing those things, you want more.
Yeah.
You crave, righto, I want to be known as the bloke who's doing the team things and chasing and doing the hard stuff. And yeah, that was our trademark was the hard things, and I loved it.
Yeah, and you just said you were given a lot of appreciation from Ross. Did you get any Ross sprays? Because everyone that I've spoken to has got at least one or two iconic sprays from him.
Yeah. Not a lot, but if it was there to give, he knew how to give it. I'll never forget one. We're playing Gold Coast, who they were pretty new into the competition. They were pretty average, and they were nearly beating us. This is when it was 2013, like our grand final year. Yeah, and he I can't remember what I did. I've marked the ball, or I've picked up the ball and I've kicked it across their goal line, and it didn't actually get intercepted, but it nearly got intercepted. Anyway, Luke McFarlane's tidied it up and we've gone out. And I've got dragged off. I'm like, fuck, righto. So I've jogged off and I'm on the phone. Get your fucking head out your ass. And what are you doing those cross goal kicks? I'm like, geez, I hit the target. It was just, he was very fast. I didn't realise this bloke how fast he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably one of the bigger ones I got, just from a cross kick. That it's not in our game plan to do that, but I seen the opportunity and took it. And left foot kicks inside the corridor, hated those, which I used to do quite a bit. Most of the time they came off, but if you missed one, look out.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was, but it was always, he was 95% of the time, he was right. Mm-hmm. If he saw something and you copped the spray, there was a reason for it. And even in review, you see like, I stuffed up.
Yeah.
There was only one time, he apologised once to someone. I can't remember who it was. He goes, "Yep, my bad. Sorry, you copped it well though."
Yeah.
So yeah, he doesn't stuff up too many times.
Yeah, nice. And when I guess your career was so iconic, because if you're a Freo supporter, you loved Hayden Ballantyne, but if you weren't a Freo supporter, you kind of hated to play against Hayden Ballantyne. How did you deal with that when you go into another team's stadium, and every time you get the ball, you're getting booed or you're getting arced up, or
the way I saw it, it's just noise really. Like it could be noise for us or against us. It's just noise, and I could never actually individually hear what people were saying, or very rarely anyway. But the way I saw it, if they were booing me, obviously I was doing my job pretty well.
Would it arc you up?
Not arc me up, but I loved it. It was water off a duck's back for me. I actually enjoyed it, because I knew if they're going me, then clearly I'm getting under their skin. I'm doing my job. Yeah. I'm playing good, and I'm doing what I need to do for the team. But yeah, I've never really, no one's ever actually had a go at me personally, like a lot of keyboard warriors and stuff like that, but no one's ever had a go. I actually get more, you're a prick, but I love you on my team. I actually get quite a bit of that, which is kind of a nice thing. But
it's sort of like a backhanded one.
Yeah, it's like a backhanded compliment. Yeah, exactly. Like, you're a dick, but I like you.
Yeah.
But the only time I ever heard someone say something, it wasn't directed at me actually. It was directed at Aaron. We're playing Bulldogs, and
sorry, mate.
And we're winning. This is when we're going good, and we're on the sideline. We both ran off together, got a drink bottle, and we're walking up, and some bloke in Bulldogs cheer squad yell out, hey, Lurch, sit down, we can't see. And I've looked up at him, and I just tried my hardest not to laugh, and I just burst out laughing. And he cracked the shit, so he didn't talk to me the rest of the game.
Oh, that is good. I bet he would have been loving it, the bloke that shouted
I
got him.
He got me. He got me. He took me off. Got my concentration out.
Another clips that I found, so we'll go through a few of them. So there was one clip, you might have to remind me what year it is, but it was pretty much Hayden Ballantyne versus Carlton. And it was just spot fires everywhere. You and Andrew Walker, and you're getting free kicks, they're getting free. It was just going off. Tell me about that game.
Yeah, I remember that. Me and Sonny had a field day that day. I reckon we kicked 6 or 7 between us. So we had a really good day. And Carlton were a team, if you just let them play their game, they'd beat you. But if you went at them and tried to intimidate them and rattle them, you'd get them off their game quite well, and it's a pretty comfortable win then. Yeah. Particularly their defenders. So I used to have Walker, and Sonny used to have I can't remember the bloke who used to follow Sonny around, but we would cross over each other and just bump our opposition players, and they hated playing against us because we were going good. And I can't remember what happened, but they stuffed up, and Walker, that's right. I tackled him. I got him holding the ball.
Yeah.
And And then I just gave him a little rib tickler, and I said, "You're not that fast, mate. Keep the goal." And that was it. It was just on after that, and I just same thing. You just keep going at him and going at him, and it just rattles them.
Yeah,
you got to have a fair bit of mental toughness to deal with that all game.
Most definitely,
You got two little Jack Russells biting ankles.
Yeah, definitely. And was there anything in particular that you would go, all right, cool? Was there any, tricks of the trade, I guess, that you'd be doing to them, or was it just kind of this is just how you played that just came natural to you? Because I had Ryan Crowley on a little while back, and he was saying that sort of all that stuff for him was actually quite manufactured to start it off with. It didn't really come natural. Does that come real natural to you? That annoying pest side, or
not? I don't suppose it comes natural, but it's something that. It's actually, you got to be pretty mentally tough to go out and be a prick for 2 hours of a game.
Definitely. It's exhausting.
But it's exhausting for them. It's exhausting for me. You just got to focus in on thinking, right, he's the best defender there is. I'm into him all game.
Yeah.
And I'll catch myself napping sometimes. Think, I'll go up and just give him one. So Stevie Baker, who used to play on me quite a bit for Saints, he was nasty. He was a real nasty piece of work. And I love this. I love playing against him because I'd learn a bit from him.
Yeah,
he used to punch me in the back of the arm here, and I had to ice my elbows after games because I just couldn't feel my hands.
Really?
Because he would just hit me all game, and he'd push me and poke me in the throat and step on my toes, and there's a little spot there just above your knee. You punch it, you can't feel your leg. So I just thought, if that's where and that's when St Kilda were flying as well. So I thought, well, if that's what the best do, that's what I'm going to do.
That's what I'm going to do. And you go, thanks very much for that one. Pop that one in the book.
Anyway,
I'll see you next time.
After the first game he did it to me, the next game, before the first bounce, I went up and punched him behind the elbow. And he goes, "Oh, you like that, don't you?" And then he just did it more and more and more. I fucked up now, Tosh. But yeah, he was a tough little bastard player. And I hit him one day as hard, in a fair bump, I hit him as hard as I could, and I heard the wind come out of his lungs.
Yeah.
And he still got up and chased me, and all I could, the whole way, he was that winded, and he still kept chasing me. He was one of the toughest blokes I've ever played.
Oh, that's full on, but that is so good that you're learning from him.
Yeah, but then, and it's the same thing. Obviously, the best players out there, if you can get under their skin and get them off their game, why not?
Yeah,
why not? Take them away from. I want to win a game. If he's going to help them win a game, I'm going to take him out of it.
The next one I want to ask you about, Matthew Scarlett. That one. Terry, can you run me through that game?
Well, it actually started a couple of years before. 2009, first time I played Geelong was down in Geelong.
Yeah.
And they won the flag that year, 2009, and they were flying. And we actually played pretty good for the first half. We could have even been up in the first half. And then the second half, they ran away with it, ended up beating us pretty convincingly. But I'll never forget one of the only regrets I had in footy. Matty Scarlett, I was probably 50 metres away, and I seen Pav was backing back to take a mark, and Matty Scarlett jumped and stuck his knee in his back.
Yeah.
And just completely wiped out Pav, and then got over him and said a few words, and I didn't go over and remonstrate, and that's the one thing I regret not doing it, because I thought, that's my captain. I should have gone over and done that.
Yeah.
But then
I love that is the thing that you regret most is I should have got the guy. Not I shouldn't have bothered that time. I should have got him. I should have gone over.
I should have gone over and done something. But then I thought, well, if they're the best and we want to be the best, that's what I'm going to do. And they've got a big target. Geelong themselves have a big target on their back now. And from then on, I just went out of my way to go at Matty Scarlett, Corey Enright, Stevie. Oh, they had a lot of stars. But their best players, just go after them. And
they were also pretty they
were
the
tough
niggle
and
and that.
nasty. They were tough and nasty. And anyway, the game that you're talking about, we had a first year player, his first game, chase Matty Scarlett down, holding the ball, bang, goal. And first or second quarter it was. And we're up and about, we're going to win this game. And I just got up in his face and I said, "You 6 All-Australians count for fuck all now, mate." Whack. And he's giving me one, and he actually didn't hit me that hard. I'm like, shit, he just hit me. So I threw my head back, made sure I got the free kick, and then bang, we kicked another goal. And then I've gone at him again, but then Chapman's come over and doing this, and I'm like, all right, we're on here.
Yeah.
And ironically, I kicked the last goal of the game that put us it's out of reach of them. That was one of the better feelings going around, because they were the best team and we wanted to beat them. And from then on, the rivalry between us and Geelong was huge.
Yeah, I always remember watching the Geelong games, and it was just the heat and the
it was
pressure
finals
was on
like
there.
it was finals like atmosphere every game, and they were big and strong and very very well drilled, and that's where we wanted to get to. So yeah, I loved every minute playing against them, but in the same sense as much as I went at them, I did have a lot of respect for them because they were an outstanding team. They were the best, and that respect diminished a bit when you go over that white line.
Yeah, definitely. And were you playing in that game versus Geelong in Geelong where Freo won, and was it a final?
Final, yeah.
What year was that?
That was 2013, our grand final year as well. And
what a game that was!
That was unbelievable. And my specific. So Corey Enright was All Australian back pocket that year, and Gunn getting 30 possessions off half back.
Yeah,
just setting them up from the back line. So my role was to take him out of the game. So I was to go stand in the corridor all game and wave my hands, kick to me. So he had to pay attention to me, not where the ball was.
Yeah.
And he did barely touch the ball. I only kicked 1 or 2 goals, but he barely touched the ball. And but I remember that goal you talk about Stephen Hill when Hilly kicked that goal. I was actually free in the 50. I'm like, kick me the ball. I've only had 8 kicks for the game. Give me a kick. But I'm so glad he didn't because that was massive pressure, and couldn't have gone any more through the middle.
So good.
And the celebration after that was pretty intense.
Well, we're on here, boys.
Yeah,
we're on.
So then we played in the prelim against Sydney, that's the best game I've been involved in.
Yep.
To put us into the grand final.
I was at that game as well. I was sitting. We were second row, directly in the middle of the ground, and the noise of the crowd.
Yeah.
I feel like for some reason going to a game now at Optus, the noise somehow isn't as big as what it was.
It's not as intense for some reason. You can only get 30 or 40,000 people into Subi, but it was intense.
Yeah,
the noise.
And
was
I feel
incredible.
like the echo would just bounce around everywhere.
I used to remember when you're about to tackle someone or you're about to kick a goal or you're about to get tackled, the noise, you could feel it coming through. It was very intense. I love playing at Subi. That was definitely my favourite round.
Yeah, Subi, there was some good memories of Subi with the Subi burgers.
They
were no good, those. And watching you just run amok. And while we're on Geelong still as well, I had Cam McCarthy on a little while back, and he told a story about you were playing Geelong one day. Is the story true? So how it goes from memory was, I think you shrugged one of the Selwood boys off.
No. So I remember it pretty well. It was my first game back. I did my hammy in the preseason, a bad tear. I tore my tendon off the bone.
Yeah.
Anyway, rehabbed it back, and it was my first game back, so I'm pumped. Fire in the belly. And the balls come in first 5 minutes. I think it was the first play of the game. And I've come steaming through, ground ball, picked it up.
Just excited to be there.
Yeah, excited to be there. And then I've kind of gone to dodge, and Joel Selwood was there, and he's coming to tackle me. And my head has hit his head and knocked him clean out. He was asleep before he hit the ground.
And it takes a bit to knock the Selwoods out.
And somehow I got the free kick for head-high contact. So
Fantastic.
Beautiful, no worries. And his brother, Scott Selwood, he said, he didn't say, I don't know what he said. I said, careful, mate, I'm knocking Selwoods out today. don't get in my way. And I thought about it, so it's probably not the right thing to say.
Good.
But, fuck it, I was out there.
But you know what? It's true. It's just what was happening on the day.
Yeah, exactly. One down, one to go.
That's so good. And you were obviously real good on the yap, I hear. Who else that you played against was, matching you for that, sort of the trash talk and stuff?
Andrew Mackey from Geelong. He was
Did he get you in a headlock or something one game?
Yeah, so the Pabs 300th when I had the broken jaw, they obviously knew it was still a bit puffy. They knew I had the broken jaw. And he tackled me. Actually, I tackled him. I've tackled him, and but he had the ball and it was around my head type thing. And we're on the ground, and he's got my head there, and he's just squeezed, and my jaw clicked, and I thought it felt like it broke again, and I wanted to kill him. Someone else dragged him off and had a go at him, but that hurt quite a bit.
Yeah. And you're a part of some real successful teams along the way. 2013 made the grand final. 2015 right at the top of the ladder. Tell us about the 2013 season. How was that to be a part of?
Yeah, that was just a stepping stone, I think. Even though we made the grand final, that wasn't our best year. 14, I think, was our best year. What cost us was injuries towards the back end of the year.
Of 13 or 14?
Of 14,
14,
yeah.
yeah.
13, sorry, was amazing. Like, we got on a run. We were one of the hardest teams to play against. And we were, like, at home, we were just about unbeatable. And then, obviously, going into the grand final, never done it before. First taste of a grand final, the MCG. I'd never been to a grand final before. So it was a bit, it was a massive.
You're just kind of
learning
taking
curve.
it in at the same time as
Yeah,
that you're supposed to be.
And we're actually
performing.
doing it and knowing that the whole country's watching was it was pretty intense. But I thought that set us up for 2014, which I think was by far our best year. We were on a mission that year, having lost it and knowing we want to get back there. We were on a mission, but towards the back end of the year, a few injuries started coming in. Luke McFarlane, calf. Michael Johnson, calf. I broke my jaw. There was quite a few of these smaller injuries that came into it that just derailed us a little bit into a season where I think we could have won a grand final. And Fifey was out. Personally, for me, watching Fifey play, I thought that was his best year. Like, he was rolling off half back, taking all these massive intercept marks and setting us up from half back. And he'd take a mark, give it off, and bang, we were gone. And it was just the way our defenders played and our midfield gelled and our forward line was like, we didn't really have any super key forwards. Like Pav, even though he was one of the greatest forwards going around, he was our only real proper key
target,
forward.
yeah.
So yeah, it was just, our system was just very, very good. And it was pretty cool to walk down the race and just thinking, we're going to fuck these blokes up today. Knowing we were really good and we knew exactly what each other were going to do.
Yeah. And then I guess obviously the feeling of that loss from that grand final, you touched on just before, the team came back real energised to hit that next year.
Yeah.
How did you personally handle that as well?
Yeah, I had a pretty poor grand final, and Ross never gave me a spray, but he actually said to me I didn't do the basics well, and that really hurt like that, because I pride myself on playing really well all the time. And when he said that, I thought, righto, how do I fix that? And I put 3 things down that I do every game: keep my feet, first option, clean hands. And if I did those 3 things, I'd play well. And Peter Sumich was my individual coach, and he just enforced those 3 things every game. Do those 3 things, and you'd be right. And I ended up All-Australian that year, kicking 50 goals or something and having a good year. So it was, even though it hurt that 13 grand final, it gave me that real burn to come out and play better.
Yeah, and then so 14 missed out, and then 15 was also looking like a very successful year as well.
Yeah.
How did you see your own year? How did you see the team's year? And sort of what was the feeling, I guess, after that all kind of ended the way that it did?
Yeah, so we started like a house on fire. I think we won our first 8 games or 9 games.
Yeah, I think it was 9 zip, I think, or something.
We were flying. And I didn't have a great start to the year. I think I got suspended against Geelong for an accident.
To be expected.
For an accidental bump like that. How do you get suspended for an accident? So I remember, because I come in.
It was definitely on purpose.
I've come in to crumb the ball, and then Harry Taylor has just popped out of nowhere. So I actually got the ball, and then I turned and just collected him and knocked him out. And he got carried off and then came back on and finished the game. So I don't know how actually knocked out he was.
Yeah.
I got 2 weeks for it, so that wasn't great. And then we're playing Carlton, and I've gone to tackle someone, and as I picked them up, I heard this noise, and I thought, I've done something to this guy. Dumped him in the ground, and I've gone to get up, and I couldn't move my arm, and I tore my pec off the bone. Oh. So I've ran off, and the noise I heard was my pec ripping off. Yeah. So I've ran off the ground, and they've done all the tests, and I took my shirt off, and my pec's just hanging. Yeah. No, it's just hanging down.
Yeah.
There's nothing here. It's all hanging down here. So I strapped it up, and I went out and ran around like a headless chook for another quarter, and then they, binned me and subbed me off. Had surgery, and then came back for the first final against Sydney. That was the next game, and we won that. But you could already feel our season was slipping away. Like I think we tried to play too perfectly. Like it's not a perfect game. You're going to stuff up, but we were trying to play too perfect, and I think that ended up costing us in the end, because what we'd really played, what our game style was about was hard work, not this pretty type of footy. It was hard work, getting down and dirty, and that's what got the job done. And we kind of went away from that a little bit.
Yeah. And then from 2015, did you realise that was kind of the window that was kind of closing with the guys and the team, and I guess maybe getting past some of the better players' best years?
Yeah, a little bit. So we go from finishing top of the ladder 15 to being down the bottom in 16, and a lot of players left in 16, either forced or retired. And it was the backbone of the club, really. Your Michael Barlows, your Matty De Boers, Tendai Mzungu, Alex Silvani,
All the tough guys.
The guys who were first picked every week. Not necessarily our best guys, but our first pick guys, because they were going to do the job every week. Like Matt De Boer, he was someone like not a great kick, but just I want him on the team all the time because he gives everything he's going to give.
Yeah.
So when those kind of guys go, a bit of the culture and a bit of the presence around the club goes as well. And when you get all these young kids in trying to push that into them, sometimes a bit of backlash. Like
yeah, of course.
We're going from this hardened team to a couple of young guys who don't really take that on board too well, that ferociousness. So
it's probably not also something that is going to come for everyone as well.
No.
It's like a very it's like a real characteristic probably, or a personality, like a football personality trait rather than.
And when Ross first got there, we were a bit of an older list as well. Like we'd played a fair bit of footy together, and then when a lot of younger guys get drafted and they get hit with this ferociousness, it's like, whoa, what's going on here? So it took a while to get that mentality back, I suppose. But that was kind of the beginning of the end. That's 2016. Then we really slid down quite a bit from there.
Yeah, and then what year was your last year?
19 was 19? My last year. Yeah.
And how did that all sort of come about? Was that were you offered a contract, or it was that?
So I kind of knew that was probably going to be my last year. I felt good coming into the season, and then round one, I was running around, felt really well, and then did a hamstring, just a little one, little grade 1, and I'm like, it's only round 1. I'm already doing a hammy round 1. It's not looking good.
No.
But then I had an ankle injury the year before, did the syndesmosis, and that's pretty painful. And agility was starting to go. So, the body was kind of falling apart. It was telling me the end was near. So I kind of wasn't really expecting another contract anyway.
Yep.
And then, 2019, Aaron also retired, and we got to play our last game together, which was, pretty cool to go out with.
And it was up on your shoulders. Remember that one? Yeah.
Well, I was up on his in the game, and then later that night when we were full of piss and bad manners, he was on my shoulders.
Yes.
Need to see the chiro the next day.
No footy next week anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. And upon reflection of your career now, you happy with your career? Minus any regrets, minus not nailing Matthew Scarlett. That was
the only regret, like I said, I played with everything I had every week, so I don't. That's where the regrets come in. That there was another game, no one else would have seen it, but I give up on a chase, and I'm like, that's not me. And I was filthy on myself. It was in 2017. We were playing GWS, and I remember it like it was yesterday because it's something I never did. I never give up, and I remember giving up on the chase, and I probably wouldn't have got him, but I might have got pressure on to unsteady his kick or something like that. And
which was like your game. That's
which
what
was
you
me.
did.
Yeah, that's and I just got filthy on myself, and I for the rest of my career I never did it, which is probably why I did more hammies. But it was things like that I regret, not giving everything every time. I miss a goal. It's not intentional. I just miss the goal. But then I'll practice to have 200 shots the next week at training just to make sure I try not miss the next one. So more the giving up side of stuff. If there wasn't many times I did it, but those times I remember the 2 or 3 very, very specifically.
Yeah, and I guess that's like, like you said, that was your game. So it's that you hold yourself in such high accountability that you had to get this done and that done. Just sort of shows what a committed player that you were. And one that I forgot to ask about, I've just remembered the kick after the siren or on the siren for the Derby. Tell me that one. Oh, I was at that game.
Yeah.
Well, you were Jono's doing the stuff behind. Did you come with me that game? I'm pretty sure you did come that game. Yeah, tell me about that game.
Well, it was like, we played the whole game. Siren's gone, and I'm like, I don't know if I can kick this far. Yeah. It was a long way. Like, it was
just tell me the lead ups, like the last play. Like, just tell me the last.
So Matty Rosa, he fumbled the ball out. Like, you could clearly see it was deliberate, and he's fumbled and bumbled his way out, and we got the free kick. Anyway, because I'm running over to tackle him, and I was the closest there. So I've took the ball, and I'm going. And as I've picked the ball up, the siren's gone. I'm like, shit, this is a long way out.
Yeah.
And I'll come back, and Quinton Lynch was on the mark, and like he's not the prettiest man going around. He was putting me off as it was. And he's on the mark.
Big glove there.
Yeah, but he's actually stood. So if you're in line with the goals, he's actually stood a few metres inside, which allowed me to kind of
come around
get
a
a bit
bit
more of an arc. So it kind of helped me a little bit.
Because I remember that was something after they were going, oh, it should have been playing on.
It should have been playing on, but it's
around.
because he actually moved himself around. So I thought, I'll go with it. He's standing there. I've come around, got a bit of an arc, and I gave it a fair oomph. And it looked like it was going through, like the whole way.
I was up.
I was doing this one already. And then
you were 30 metres in with this one.
And then the last 10 metres just faded to the right and hit the post. And it was actually shattering.
Yeah.
If we had won that, we potentially could have played finals again that year. So it was a hard watch, but. To be honest, I don't think many other people would have kicked that far. That's the game.
And the point of where it was, that's probably the last point on the whole ground
you
that you almost want to have a set shot from.
Because he should have been, basically should have been on the point of the arc and where the boundary meets, and he's stepped in 3 or 4 metres. So, yeah, like I said, he actually helped me a bit.
Yeah. I remember that so vividly. I was up and about, saw it coming through, going, yes. Oh, that's so good. And you're happily retired now?
Yeah, happily retired. I played footy last year for Pinjarra.
Did you?
Yeah, played 6 or 7 games, qualified finally.
How'd you go?
Yeah, we won the flag.
Oh, fantastic. Wow.
First thing, I played 2 Colts flags for Peel Thunder.
Yeah.
And that's my first flag since. So it was
unreal.
Long time between drinks.
Yes.
So yeah, I did, but again,
and where they sticking you on the ground now? You up forward in the square, and
I don't move
no
too
chasing anymore.
So leading into the finals, I started to lift the ante a bit and started to have a crack, and did my hammy. I did my hammy two weeks before final, a week before finals. So I didn't play any final, just played in the granny and was getting through all right. Kicked the goal in the first quarter. And then second quarter, she went again. So, if I play again this year, that's probably going to be it.
Yeah, nice. And are you wearing number 1 still?
Yeah, still wearing number 1. It's still club footy. It's still the smallest jumper.
Excellent. And you train horses as well. That's like your full-time job now.
Not full-time. So I do that in the mornings. That's my little. It's more a passion type thing. Something I've grown up with. Something I love doing. Yeah. And getting pretty good at it. So
wicked. Got
a good little team running around.
Run us through it. So what's a day of a horse trainer look like? What do you actually do?
We're up about 4 doing the morning work.
And in Mandurah as well,
In Baldivis, all Carnup we are.
Yeah.
We're up at 4. We've got 12 in work at the moment. So we're normally done by, the actual work's done by 7:30, 8 o'clock. And just day to day. That's this morning we're down the track, went to trials, and then and then the rest of my week's taken up with cattle. We grain feed a lot of cattle. And
really?
I trade, buy and sell quite a few cattle through the year as well. So
wow.
For West Coast Livestock, believe it or not.
Wow,
that's the company I do some work with. So
there you go.
It's it's something. I'm not someone who can just sit down during the day. Like I've got to be up and about and doing stuff. Yeah. So we start early, start at 4, and like my days, we're normally done by 2, 3 o'clock. So get to spend a bit of time with the kids in the arvo, pick them up from school.
Yeah, wicked.
What are the horses that you've got?
Flexible. What have you got the horses that you run around at the moment? Anyone that or any horse names that people should be looking out for?
Well, most people would know Sentimental Queen. She's probably my best horse at the moment.
Yeah.
Got a good little 2-year-old, Flinders Lane. She's she's looking very, very good for the Magic Millions this year.
Yeah, wicked.
And
are you going all over Australia for it as well, or are you mainly staying in WA?
Not yet. That'll be the aim. The pinnacle, I think, is the Cox Plate. Like that's probably the hardest race in Australia to win. Everyone. The Melbourne Cup's probably the most known
famous
and prestigious. One, So, but the Cox Plate is the best horses in the world. Basically, come over for that.
Yeah,
because it's it's one of the most iconic races going around, and it's a proper punters day that day. Yeah. We go over quite a bit for the Cox Plate because that's a proper punters race day.
Yeah, wicked.
So that's the.
So you want to be in the owner's box or the trainer's box there.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's the goal. That'd be and the $5 million in prize money is not
pretty
bad
good.
Either, but obviously winning a Group 1 is like winning a grand final, I suppose. I've only had one Group runner, Little Mankind. He was my first horse.
Yes. And, some of the Freo guys were in on that.
Yeah, they
one,
were. Yeah. A few of the Freo guys are in a couple now, but
yeah.
he was the first one I bought, and he did a huge job. He got me my passion for racing back again, and yeah, he gave me a lot. That little fella, he was a gun.
Unreal. And so I guess like leading up to obviously the ultimate goal to get to the Cox Plate and like a big race like that, what's the kind of stepping stones that you do for that? How's it kind of work?
You gotta have a good crew behind, like a lot of support through your owners.
Yeah.
I've got some fantastic owners who back me in and yeah, just agree with everything I say. And we've had quite a bit of success for such a small stable. We've had quite a lot of success in a short amount of time. So if we can sustain that and keep everyone happy and everyone's happy with what I'm doing, yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun. But it's a bit of a pipe dream. Cox Plate's a bit of a pipe dream.
Yes.
Everyone dreams about getting there, but very few actually get there.
Of course, yeah.
So, yeah,
that's the big league. Like you said, that's the
ultimate.
The
but
granny.
In WA, you got 3 Group 1s that everyone aims for. The Railway Stakes, that's probably the highest in WA. So, yeah, winning one of those would be a good starting point to eventually propel you over to Melbourne.
Yeah, and then what does like a horse workout look like? I know it's probably different for the horse and the distances and all that sort of stuff as it would be for, training someone in the gym here. But how do you train a horse? Like,
it's not too dissimilar to what they used to do to us in the preseason.
Yeah.
So you get them...
Flog the shit out of you.
Yeah, exactly. You give them a holiday. You give them a good spell out in the paddock. You bring them back and it's just getting kilometres into their legs. Just building them up, trimming them up. You can't do skin folds on them, but that's what you look for. You like to see a little bit of rib, see some definition in them, and then you gradually build up that pace. So you drop the distance back and then build up the pace a little bit, and eventually get them to a trial, like a pre-season game, and then they're ready for a race day. So
there you go.
It's probably a shorter pre-season.
And they don't talk back too. How good is that?
They don't talk back, but they bite and kick, and that's not nice.
That's awesome. Well, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure sitting down and having a chat with you. And like I said, was some of the most iconic football memories that I've got is watching you play, and it's been pretty cool having a chat to you. So thank you very much.
No worries.
Good luck with all the horse racing, and yeah, can't wait to see you up there on the Cox Plate. How good.
Hope so. Cheers.
Thanks, mate.